10 minutes, 600 seconds. That's how long I spent in what was, as of April 2025, the world's busiest airport by aircraft movements. A 10-minute connection in Chicago O'Hare, or any large hub for that matter, is not a situation you'd ideally want to be in. But if you're booked for a short layover and your incoming flight is late, tight scenarios like this are inevitable. So let's hustle through O'Hare and jump aboard United's 737-700 with service from Chicago to Albany, New York. It's just after 5:40 p.m. and I'm just now arriving in Chicago on this 1 hour late CRJ200 from Peoria, the subject of my previous video. I was booked for a little over an hour layover in Chicago, so with the inbound flight's delay, things got pretty tight. My next flight to Albany began boarding at 6 p.m. and by this time I had just gotten off the Peoria flight and was now hustling it through Terminal 2. This evening, I had to get from F21 in Terminal 2 to B2 in Terminal 1, so actually this could have been a lot worse. It only took around 6 minutes to reach B2, and by the time I got there, Group 5 was still boarding. Now, had this flight been leaving from Concourse C, for example, which requires walking through the underground tunnel, things would have been a lot tighter. And that's really the general principle for short connections in big hub airports. Your connecting gate's location can really make or break your layover. In other words, making a 10-minute connection either easily doable or borderline impossible. Now, while I was glad that we hustled over to the gate, there was at least a 4-minute holdup in the jet bridge, which gave us some time to cool off before getting on board. United seats 126 on its 737-700 with 12 seats in first class and 114 in economy. So far, none of the 700s have been retrofitted with the new Next cabins, so the seats still feature the old DirecTV screens with unusable credit card swipes and the literature shelf underneath, followed by the tray table and a netted seat pocket for your personal items. Seat pitch is pretty average, but for anyone 6 feet and above, you will struggle a little bit. I'll also mention that despite this being a standard economy seat, it's one of the first few rows in the economy cabin, so United classifies it as a preferred seat and thus charges extra to reserve it. Now, that's one of my biggest pet peeves when full-service airlines charge you extra to reserve economy seats. And this wasn't exactly cheap. I paid $35 each for myself and my sister. And before you ask, I basically had no other choice because at the time of booking, the only complimentary seats open on this aircraft were middle seats. But I digress. Just before pushback, complimentary earbuds were distributed for the in-flight entertainment system.
2 on each side of the aircraft. If the doors are opened in an emergency, slides will automatically inflate. In a water landing, forward door slides detach from the aircraft and serve as extra flotation. Do not use the aft exits unless advised by a crew member.
United still has a significant number of 737NGs flying with these older DirecTV screens. That includes all of the 700s, many 800s, and even some of the 900s if I'm not mistaken. Now, there once was a time when you had to pay to use these screens, hence the card swipe, but United made usage of these screens free back in 2019. The selection is nothing extraordinary as it's basically just live TV, however when everything is working, there is a decent variety of channels and also a flight map. Now, it's been a long time since I last had a stroopwafel on a United flight, but I'm happy to see these being offered once again as one of the 3 or 4 snack options. And alongside the stroopwafel, I had ginger ale to drink. And the rest of the flight after sunset was uneventful. Soon enough, we were flying across New York and preparing to descend into Albany. Our approach this evening brought us in from the west, flying over downtown Albany and past the airport on downwind before making a 180 and landing on runway 28. Well, that was definitely the roughest landing I've experienced probably ever. But aside from that, a pleasant flight tonight with United and not much I can really highlight or comment on. I will say that when you do find yourself in a tight connection scenario or if you need extra guidance on how to navigate your connections, United is by far the best airline in this regard, as their mobile app and text alerts always provide you updated gate and delay information. I'm grateful to finally be on the ground here in Albany after a long travel day, but be warned, the journey back to Peoria a few days later was even more thrilling, let's just put it that way. So until I see you all next time, thank you so much for watching today. Take care everyone, and have a good one.